Does he know that he won the Super Bowl and is going to Disneyland tomorrow?
Actually, well, I mean, Kenneth Walker is on his way to Disney.
I would imagine we're all
Disney,
going, right?
Today. Maybe so. Sam Darnold is a Super Bowl champ, and part of that is because he doesn't listen to the Jackals.
The Rich Eisen Show, from noon to 3 Eastern on ESPN Radio, ESPN Plus, and on Disney Plus.
We're feeling the love for this Valentine's Day women's college basketball rivalry showdown. Two powerhouse teams led by Flajay Johnson and Joyce Edwards.
At this time of the season, this is going to be a good one.
The Gamecocks head to Baton Rouge for a top 10 tilt with LSU. We love an epic SEC Saturday matchup.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with your 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports. CAA basketball news. Daniel Pruitt denies Charles Bediaco's motion for a preliminary injunction to allow him to continue playing basketball. Bediaco appeared in 5 games for the Crimson Tide after playing in the G League. Monday night college basketball scores. UNA back at home for the first time in 23 days, but couldn't cash in the home win. Lions fall to Central Arkansas, and former UAH head coach John Schulman 72-65. Dante Backus will lead UNA with 17 points. Alabama A&M goes on the road, grabs a 66-58 win over Grambling. Bulldogs were led by James Graham's 19 points. Tuesday night SEC basketball, the Auburn Tigers back at home tonight as they welcome 19th ranked Vanderbilt. Tip-off set for 6 p.m. Auburn, a 3.5-point home favorite. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. That's my dog. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Elmer Pearson parked into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham. So glad that you are with us today, and we do have a Top 10 for you today, and it is a fun Top 10 for you today as we are wrapping up the Super Bowl afterglow as well. So it kind of has a little bit of a hook to that. Plus, of course, we will get into the Charles Bediaco decision by the courts to end his college career and how this differentiates from other cases like this in college basketball, if it does. I'm not sure. I'm with Nate Oates. I'm confused. I am absolutely confused by the whole thing because at the bottom of the hour, Kennington Lloyd Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa with thoughts on the Bediaco decision and what that means for the Tide the rest of the way. I mean, they went 3-2 with him. He averaged 10 points, 4.5 rebounds, playing about 21 minutes a game. And for those of you wondering about how the NCAA will look at those 5 games, keep in mind that NCAA president or head Charlie Baker, he seemed pretty clear about his intentions before this decision when he said that despite the NCAA's opposition to Bediaco's eligibility, the association is not in a position to sanction Alabama for breaking its rules by playing Bediaco. For a lot of good reasons, people who lose in court can't turn around and punish the people who won. That's what Baker said. Now, how the selection committee looks at this is a whole nother thing. And I'll alert the guys in the other side of the glass there, because I don't think I did last night, to get the audio, if they can get the audio from last night and what Nate Oates had to say. We'll get to that in a moment. what he had to say, on his coach's show. But the committee, the selection committee, you wonder whether or not, if it's close between being a 4 seed, a 5 seed, a 6 seed, whatever, that they will take into account that, well, yeah, but when they beat Auburn on the road, oh, yeah, but they beat Texas A&M, they had a player that they don't have anymore. Yeah, how will they consider that? So I think that's an interesting concept there. Now, the phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in and contribute at 256-576-4977. Here's the question. Will we receive a phone call between now and August? Right? I mean, I know how y'all are with the whole football thing. So will we get a phone call between this morning at 10:06 and August 15th? Or maybe we'll get like one call during SEC Media Days. I don't know. There are things to discuss and to talk about. It's Daytona 500 week. We will have more on that later on. We had our Friday trifecta, and we wrapped up the Friday trifecta. The entire grand trifecta and everything. We wrapped that all up this past weekend with the Super Bowl. Now, I told you that ends the Friday trifecta, the traditional Friday trifecta, until next football season. However, we do special ones, like for the Masters and the U.S. Open. We do, the Open Fecta and the Master Fecta. Well, we always do the 500 Fecta. Woo! Yeah, we're going to have a 500 Fecta. And remember, we ask you a number of different questions. We'll have a couple of matchups. We'll ask you for a manufacturer to win the race. All right? Whether it will be a Great American Ford, or whether it would be a Great American Chevy, or whether it would be one of those Japanese Toyotas. We always ask you that question. And then we'll ask you for a winner. That'll be the tiebreaker, will be the winner, whoever has the highest finishing. So just get ready, okay? Because it's coming. It's coming. We won't do anything special for the Twin 150s on Thursday night, except for watch them. But it's coming. Jordan Bianchi will be joining us later in the week from The Athletic as well to set it up. But there's that. Listen, I tell you something else. I'm just going to say it. Pitchers and catchers are reporting today and tomorrow around Florida and Arizona. It's happening. All right, we're getting ready for the next thing. A football season dies, a baseball season rises. We got the Olympic hockey tournament coming up. Now, the Chicks are playing today against Canada. And I'll just say this about that. I want to know the result. It's a wonderful rivalry. The rivalry between the U.S. and Canada in hockey, both men and women, is spectacular. Canada has the upper, I don't want to say dominates, but Canada has the upper edge on us in the men's side. We have the upper hand on the women's side. The thing is that it's this afternoon, I think at 1:10 Central Time. I will not see it live. I'll have to watch it later on tonight after work. But having said that, I've watched a few minutes of the women's hockey so far. It's hard to watch, man. It's hard to watch. I know it's like, it's a big thing, and they got a league, a pro league, and they play in college and everything else. It's hard to watch. It's slow. They wear cages like high school kids. It's slow comparatively. It would be interesting to know, and there's no checking. I believe that's true. I'll have to put the crack research team on it. In women's hockey, I don't think you're allowed to hit. I don't think there's any checking. And is there ever a fight in a women's hockey game? You know what I'm saying? I don't know if the Chicks fight. They got a cage on. It's hard enough to fight with a dude that's got a shield. You got like nothing to hit. The women don't really. How do you get in a fight when they got a cage on? What do? Break out a acetylene torch and cut the cage off the person's helmet first? I don't know. It's hard to watch. Anyway, feel free to jump in. 25. None of that was on my None of that was on my rundown. I'm just freelancing there a little bit. Feel free to jump in. 256-576-4977. That gets you in, no matter where you're listening to the show. We got a text window that's open as well. Read and react to those on the air. 7329 TA show, 732-982-7469. And you can watch the show as well on WZZN TV. Wait, I have to, even if I'm in the palatial studios of our flagship station here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone, I still have to hit the reload or the read notification? I think I still have to do that for you people. So let me hit that little like and save and repost and thing like that. So, okay, that should be up now. So you'll be able to get the video of the show there at my X feed at Thom Abraham Show. And we'll get into that as well. Look, I'm going to save my take on the international stuff. Because we got a lot of international stuff going on now because it's the Olympics. So we got the international stuff going on with the Olympics. We have the World Baseball Not So Classic coming up in March. We got a lot of international stuff going on right now, sports-wise. I'll get into that in a minute. Okay, let's get back to the Bediako situation and Nate Oates last night. All right? You guys got that queued up over there? Let's take a listen to this. This was Nate Oates last night and what he had to say with Chris Stewart, the voice of the Crimson Tide basketball team. And take a listen to what Nate had to say.
Unfortunately, we've got to talk about some bad news, disappointing news. Court ruling today that, and I may get the wording wrong, but in essence, Charles is not going to be able to play right now for your team.
Yeah,
it was an overturn. Talk to us about where things stand and what happens now.
Yeah, I mean, obviously super disappointed in the whole thing, to be honest with you. I didn't think it ever should have got to court. I thought the NCAA should have made him eligible based on, over 100 current college basketball players, former professionals, most of them over in Europe, some in the G League, guys being drafted, rights owned by NBA teams, as in James Nagy being eligible to play. So I thought it was kind of a no-brainer with the NCAA, and then I didn't think it would be that big of an issue. The NCAA really hasn't changed much without courts forcing them to change. So I thought the courts would see the inconsistencies in the rulings and agree with Charles' attorneys at the NCAA. I mean, to me, the NCAA's point of why Charles shouldn't be eligible was all these rules that they have, but they're not applying those rules to all the other players they've made eligible. So to me, it is very disappointing in the whole case, disappointing for Charles. Now, for our team, we've got to turn the focus back to the guys that are going to be on the floor. And we've got some very capable players that we've won a lot of games before, won some big games before Charles got here. So we're getting some guys back healthy. We're going to have, Aiden had 5 blocks. They blew the goaltending call at the end, and they really blew it because in the last 2 minutes, it's not a coach's challenge to call. The referees are supposed to do it on their own. So when they called that goaltend, that was not a goaltend. They were supposed to go, and it's a new year. Good crew of referees. They just didn't make the right. They didn't make the right call, and then they were supposed to go on their own and review it. So really, Aiden had 5 blocks in the last game, so it's great. He's been able to play with Charles. We've gotten him some, but he's going to have to continue to, take care of the interior, and then we were going to have to go back and play a little small ball. When he's not in, and we'll just we'll figure it out. That's what coaches are here for. But
yeah, so there's a little bit more than the Bediako issue, but the biggest thing was his reaction to the Bediako issue and what's going to happen there, and he's right about the inconsistencies. That's the biggest problem with this whole thing. As you said, the NCAA has granted eligibility to over 100 current men's basketball players with prior professional experience, whether it's in the G League or overseas. So granting eligibility to some former professionals and not to others, he said, is what creates the havoc we are currently in and why consistency from decision makers is so desperately needed. That's the biggest problem with this whole thing, is the inconsistencies of it. He said, quote, "It just seems like the European international players are being given preferential treatment over the Americans. And at some point, somebody is going to win a ruling like this. It wasn't here today. At some point, somebody will win one and change the system. Because that's how it gets changed in the NCAA. They don't make changes on their own, typically. Well, they do need to make changes. The NCAA needs to make specific changes as to this issue because it's wildly inconsistent. It's okay if you say that, hey, you know what? We shouldn't have this. We shouldn't be allowing these players to play in college basketball once they are declared for the NBA draft or sign any kind of a professional contract, whatever. Just make it the same for everybody. That's the big deal. Just make it the same for everybody. So if you want to react to that, you could jump in on that, but we'll have Kennington Lloyd Smith at the bottom of the hour on that. All right, couple of other notes. So not only does Sam Darnold get a Super Bowl ring before his draft mates, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or Baker Mayfield, but now Jalen Milroe becomes the 6th Alabama quarterback with a ring. That's a record. And Milroe becomes the only Alabama rookie to win a ring. The Alabama quarterbacks have 8 rings combined, while Michigan's Tom Brady has, 7 all by himself. There are 4 Wolverine quarterbacks with rings, including Chad Henne, Brian Griese, and Elvis Grbac, who all got theirs as backups. Now, Alabama had 4 starters win. Bart Starr, Joe Namath, Kenny Stabler, and Jalen Hurts. Yeah. Now, this is the rub. Some want to credit Hurts as the Oklahoma quarterback that won the Super Bowl, making him the only Sooner to win a Super Bowl. This is a touchy subject. This is a touchy subject because Oklahoma would like to claim Troy Aikman in his 3 Super Bowls as well, because he played 2 years for both the Sooners and the Bruins, but is credited to the Bruins since he finished there. That would leave Cal with the most starters to start a Super Bowl. Joe Kapp never won one. Craig Morton did not win one as a starter. He won as a backup to Roger Staubach, did not win as a starter. Aaron Rodgers, who won a Super Bowl, and Jared Goff, who never won one as a starter. Started for the Rams, but did not win. So Rodgers is the only one of those guys to win. Purdue has 3 starters, Len Dawson, Drew Brees, and Bob Griese, all winners. Notre Dame has had 3. Joe Theismann, Joe Montana, and Darryl LaMonica. You forget that Darryl LaMonica won. The 2 Joes were winners. Darryl LaMonica was a loser in his Super Bowl II. Of course, this is all going to be a moot point in a few years, since every Super Bowl winning quarterback will have played for at least 3, maybe 4 schools. So who's going to get the credit? As of right now, the only Super Bowl starters that I can see, this is just off the top of my head, that played at multiple schools would be Russell Wilson, right? Wisconsin and NC State. Jalen Hurts, Alabama and Oklahoma. Troy Aikman, Oklahoma and UCLA. Joe Burrow, Ohio State, and LSU, where he won the national championship. Those are the only starting quarterbacks that I can think. Am I wrong? Am I missing somebody? Go ahead and tell me. But in the future, the story will be if a quarterback wins the Super Bowl that's only played at one school. Like Ty Simpson, let's say. You know, if Ty Simpson gets drafted by the right team, I saw a mock that said Ty Simpson will be drafted by the Jets. It's a death knell. He'll be on his 4th, 5th team before he is any good. But if Ty Simpson were drafted by the right team that's going to need a quarterback in a couple of years, some team that's got an age like the Rams or someplace like that, somebody that has a aging quarterback, the Lions, something like that. if he was drafted by that kind of a team and won the Super Bowl, the big story would be, here, we got a quarterback that only played at one college and won a Super Bowl. Because I can't think of anybody else. I mean, of top quarterbacks, who are they ever going to be able to say played at one place? Maybe Lenore Sellers someday. Arch Manning, after he gets drafted next year. Maybe Arch Manning. I don't know. All right, in the other room, playing the Players That Matter, the Stacks of Wax, sitting side by each with Hollywood Hogan, trying to figure out what's going on with the Twitter. I don't even know. It's the one and the only, the prodigy, the grasshopper.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together on a spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last. He's got Abraham down.
What a catch! What a catch! A leaping catch at the 45-yard lines, and he brings it in.
What's up? How are you?
What's going on with the Twitter over there?
I don't know. It's Elon. You know, there's problems like all throughout. Even during the Super Bowl, there was Twitter problems, and that was around halftime. You can expect what that was all about, but we're not going to get into all that today, I hope. But you know what? I'm feeling pretty good today, and you should already be adding one extra quarterback to that Cal list because, of course, Fernando Mendoza is going to win a Super Bowl in his NFL career as well.
You think?
Yeah, I'm gonna put that
with
one.
The Raiders. Or who? How many teams in will it be before he wins a Super Bowl if it's Fernando Mendoza? I'm not sold on him. I am not 100% sold on Fernando Mendoza, to be honest with you.
I told you that I wanted to see his season, his career go to an end in college football, and then he goes and just be like a nomad or something like that. He may be a monk. You know, he shaves his head and all that stuff. Because I feel like this can't last. It's just
Well, you just said he's going to win a Super Bowl.
Well,
Which
yes,
is it? Is he topped out? Is he peaked? Or is he going to win a Super Bowl?
Since he chose to go to the NFL, that means a Super Bowl is definitely in the way. And I think that the Raiders could get back there if they go and do the right things with their organization. It's going to take a lot, though. It is going to take a lot, but I could see it happening.
See, does young Clint Kubiak have the stones and have what it takes to win there? I mean, he was obviously handpicked by Tom Brady. You couldn't watch the playoff game when the NFC Championship game when the Seahawks played the Rams. How many times did Tom Brady call Clint Kubiak his guy? I mean, this is where you go to this whole issue of Tom Brady being a broadcaster and working for, being an owner in the NFL. We know that Brady was very involved in the selection. So you got Tom Brady saying, my guy. Well, it turns out he's his guy, isn't it? Had he hired him already? Apparently. I mean, Clint Kubiak, you had Kenneth Walker and Sam Darnold say on the field, I'm going to Disney World, and Clint Kubiak was like, I'm going to Vegas. On the field. I mean, it seemed like it was like 15 minutes later, he confirmed. I think in the postgame, he confirmed that he was going to be the next head coach of the Raiders. Which, by the way, for Kubiak, that'll be his 5th team in 5 years.
Not a good track record.
Well, it is a good track record in as much as he's been moving up and he's highly thought of. But on the other hand, you wonder whether or not, is this going to last? Is he going to get 3 years there? We knew Pete Carroll, that was a swing and a miss. That was like, hey, we'll bring the old guy in and see if we can't get really good really fast. Well, that didn't work out. Grumpy says that Kramer's new name should be the Owens Friday Trifecta Champion Kramer.
That's a little too wordy.
Yeah, because it would have to be the Owens Home Appliance Center Friday Trifecta Champion Kramer. Needs a little bit more love for Owens. Now, Mike Owen did a great job for us. I mean, he did it right. And Mike said, and I don't know exactly what it is right now, but Mike said that he's going to touch up Allison with a little something.
I saw. I heard yesterday.
Because she came in second by 3 points. She misses out on a $10,400 grand prize by 3 points. And he's like, we'll hook her up with like a blender or something like that.
Well, that's something.
A toaster.
I do want to see
what they
the before and after, though, of what Kramer's going to be rocking with. Because I think that would
Kramer
be pretty
said
sweet.
that his kitchen is. He must have he said that his appliances are from the late 70s. So he obviously didn't buy it new. I mean, he's not that old. Kramer's probably late 30s, late 30s.
Now those 70s appliances, though, they will last.
1978, he said the appliances. So obviously he bought a house, a used house that had appliances in it. You're right. We need to see before and after pictures of the entire kitchen and post it on all the social. This is what Kramer won from Owen Home Appliance Center.
That'd be a perfect way to cap it all off.
That's the way to cap it all off.
Yeah, because he doesn't have that stovetop that's built into the granite.
No. He's not getting that. He's getting the beautiful range, the Gordon Ramsay range, the range hood. That could take a little finagling around. The refrigerator, the whole 9 yards. What he's not getting is a microwave because Gordon Ramsay doesn't believe in microwaves. So Gordon Ramsay doesn't think you should microwave anything. So we'll see how that works out.
Sound, honestly. Air fryer is 10 times better anyway.
Big fan. Big fan. And yes, she did get the shirt. They both had shirts. Grumpy want to know, did she get the 5-point shirt? She lost by 3. Did she get the 5? They both actually got the 5-point shirt. Everybody that was in the top 20 probably got shirts, at least. I mean, we went through probably 40 shirts, but everybody in the top, nobody missed out because they didn't get a shirt. Whether it was Bama Bread or whether it was Jack Shrimpshire or whoever it was, they all had shirts. The shirt did not. Now, if she didn't get the shirt or if Kramer didn't get the shirt, if Kramer didn't get the shirt, Kramer doesn't.
It's true.
Kramer doesn't win the kitchen. But it was all even because they all got the shirts. So that was good. But Kramer got the shirt too. And so that was a critical deal for him.
It's about as good of a deal as going over to Zone Deals, big Zone Deals, and getting yourself some half-off food.
Well, yeah. That's a pretty good deal too.
Obviously so.
That's a pretty good deal too. And we got a couple of new products going on there soon, which is really cool as well. All right. I got to get a break. All right. Got to get a break in here. I'd left a couple of guys hanging, and that's a bad job by me. I own that. That's a bad job by me. But we got Kennington Lloyd Smith coming up bottom of the hour. We got a big topic in this whole issue of whether or not guys who signed an NBA contract should play in college basketball if they wash out. And we'll talk to him next right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
not the only one, but there's